Hey everyone, how's it going? Elliot here again. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at something quite cool. There was two Game Boy Advance types made. There was the AGS-101 and the AGS-001. I don't have a 001 here to show you, but basically the difference is the 001 had a little strip of lights down at the front of the screen, and when you turned it on, those lit up the screen, and that's called front lighting. The 101 has a proper LCD backlit screen, which is what you're familiar with seeing on things like computers, phones, and basically anything with a screen. However, these are quite expensive, especially in the UK, because it wasn't ever actually released in the UK. It was only released in America and Japan, Australia, I think. Well, there's a couple of places, but other than the UK. So I found a fake one for just over £20, and here it is right here. Blimey, that looks quite interesting. So I'm quite excited for this. I bought this from India or something like that. It was £20. You're not going to be able to buy this exact one. I mean, you might do if you find one on eBay, but there isn't a link that I can give everyone, unfortunately. I have had one similar to this in the past, but it didn't actually play proper Game Boy games, so I'm quite excited here. It also came with a few knockoff Game Boy games. So here is Mario versus Donkey Kong, and you can see the low quality of the printing, and yeah, really quite a funny thing. And if I have a look on in the inside, you can see there the Nintendo logo is an absolute pile of mess. There's two more games as well. It came with 3 in total, and here's the manual. If I just open it up, it's one thin page of incredibly cheap paper. Playing video game can make your muscles, joint or skin hurt after a few hours. Please follow their instructions to avoid problems such as tendonitis, carpal tunnel syndrome or skin irritation. Bloody hell. So yeah, okay, don't play your Game Boys for too long, everybody, otherwise you can get all of those things. So here's 3 fake games. Let's just do a quick turn-on comparison with no games in. Goodness me. You can see the screen ratio on this is not the same. Oh, so there's a menu for built-in games, but there's no built-in games. That's odd. It's got a battery indicator up at the top as well. And yeah, okay, so let's try an actual game in there then and see what it's like. So this is King of Fighters. Let's pop that in. This is fake, so I'm not sure if this is even going to work. That is horrendous, that little loading screen there. Be interested to see if this actually plays well. The volume slider works absolutely great. Oh, and it has actually got a brightness control. Usually that's a reset button, so that's quite interesting. So let's go ahead and go on practice. Oh my goodness, I don't want to say that this actually works well, but it does work well, and the screen's actually not that low quality. The L and R buttons feel great as well. Usually on these cheap knockoff things, they're like super micro switched ones, but if I just turn the volume down, you can hear that. They're very similar to the actual official one. So yeah, wow, I'm pleasantly surprised so far. Let's take a look at another game. Let's have a look at Garfield. I mean, I don't really know what else there is going to be to say about this. I just thought it'd be really, really cool to show you all. It's funny how it says Game Boy Advance SP on there, and you know, it's got the Nintendo logo up there. It says Game Boy on the bottom. The sticker is Japanese, but usually with these fake shells, that's what you're pretty used to seeing. Oh, We just saw a little bit of glitching there. Oh, quite a lot of lag from that part. But now the lag's all gone. This is quite laggy. Yeah, very laggy. Goodness me, I don't know if you can see that there. Let's go ahead and put the fake game into the real one and just see how that compares. It's just far smoother. You can see that there, the jumping mechanics and everything, far smoother than the fake one. But that being said, the fake one is still quite impressive. Now, what I want to try is to see if it plays Game Boy Color and original Game Boy games. So I've got a couple of Game Boy games here. Let's try the original one first and see what happens. Fingers crossed this works, because that would be amazing. No, unfortunately it doesn't play your original Game Boy games. Let's try Game Boy Color. Because obviously in the actual original Game Boy Advance SP, there's an extra chip on the board purely dedicated to playing Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. So yeah, unfortunately it doesn't work at all, which is a big shame. It's interesting that it looks like it can play inbuilt games, but there doesn't seem to be any. So I'm going to quickly take off the back and see if there's a slot for a micro SD card. We can quite clearly see that this has actually been opened up before. So I'm quite interested to see what it's like inside. There is actually tri-wing screws on here, which is just extra piracy really, quite interesting. I have no idea what date this could have been. I mean, obviously the Game Boy came out around 2002, but the AGS-101 was a couple of years later, I believe. 2004 maybe? It came out when the DS was out and the Game Boy Micro, and that's why I didn't do so well and come over to the UK. There we go. Right, battery pack for GBA SP. So it's a fake Game Boy Advance SP battery, which is good because it's probably going to have a lot shorter life than everything else. So we can replace that at least. There's one more little tri-wing screw which I'll just remove. It'd be absolutely amazing if this did take a micro SD card slot. I would love that thoroughly. Okay, I think we've got all of these screws out here, so let's just go ahead and lift the back piece off. Moment of truth. We're in. Okay. No SD card slot immediately that I can see. We might have to just disassemble this slightly further, although I really don't want to break this thing. And these are inherently cheap, so probably disassembling this isn't the best idea. Okay, we are in, and no, there's no SD card slot. You can see under the board there. I'm just sat at home editing this on my computer, and to me, that looks like it could be a micro SD card slot. Now, obviously there isn't one soldered on, but if I was to solder one onto that, would it have the software to recognize the ROM files and then play them? That sounds interesting. Let me know in my Facebook community page what you think of that. If it will work, let me know. You can obviously see there that it slots in, and then there's where you'd solder it. I don't know, does that look like a micro SD card slot to you? Let me know. So it's really weird that this has so-called inbuilt games on it, yet the inbuilt games don't work. Okay, so let's go ahead and just reassemble this because it's giving me anxieties seeing it disassembled. But yeah, certainly interesting that the inbuilt games don't work. I'm not sure why. And no, these screens cannot be used on GBA AGS-101s. It's not a replacement screen. Completely different ribbon cable and different aspect ratio entirely. Okay, well yeah, definitely quite an interesting little thing. Really gutted that it can't play Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, but I still find this kind of thing very interesting. Potentially I could put it in an official shell with real Nintendo buttons and everything. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but then you could get, oh that's loud, but then you could get official buttons and an official shell, and it is something that is playable. Unfortunately, the lag might be a problem, but yeah, a rather interesting little thing. I hope you have all enjoyed this video. A little bit of an odd one. It's a fake handheld, so I'm quite used to making videos on those. It's just funny that it's it actually plays original Game Boy games. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section below. It looks like the charger and link ports are all exactly the same as well. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.